swag out there and boss.
And welcome to another edition of the Sartorial and Geek Podcast by Webster Style, where we talk about bow ties, comic books, and everything in between. I'm your host, Webster Style, the man, the voice, the fragrance, coming back one more again. Speaking of one more again, let's talk about our download, which is a game that I covered, about a year and a half ago. But I'm revisiting it, one, because it was such an awesome narrative adventure, but also it is finally dropping on PlayStation, as it was published by Xbox and directly in the Game Pass when it came out way back in, I think, June of 2022, and is As Dusk Falls. As Dusk Falls is an original interactive drama from Interior Night that explores the strangled or entangled lives of two families across 30 years, starting in 1998 with a robbery gone wrong in small town Arizona. The choices you make have a powerful impact on the characters' lives in this uncompromising story of betrayal, sacrifice, and resilience. Now, this is a game that I admit I haven't touched in quite a while, but the time I did play it, I enjoyed it, and it was really fun because it is so optimized for phone play, playing mobilely via the cloud. So especially at that point in time when I was on the road a lot more, it was a really cool game to pick up on my phone, power up the Xbox Game Pass app, and play it via cloud play without having a controller. So for all my PlayStation heads out there, you now get to enjoy this Game Award winning. I talked about the Game Awards last week, but this won an award in 2022, I think, for like best narrative game or something to that effect. I forget. But definitely check that out. I believe retail is $29.99. So it is a fairly inexpensive game in comparison to some others that are out there. And it is one that you are going to get hours of enjoyment out of. So that's my download, redoing As Dusk Falls. Now, next up, we have the interview. Now, the interview is one that I had a lot of fun doing, and unfortunately, the video didn't come through because her video never came on. Didn't know that had to stop taping. So this is first and foremost an exclusive for the podcast. We talk with the lovely Ren of Ren's Red Room over at the Head Nerds in Charge. And I believe at the time of this recording, I've guest spotted on her podcast, her YouTube show, 3 times now. The third time was more of a redo for this one. So we delve a lot into why she's on YouTube, why she wanted to have a voice, and exploring some other topics we talked about before on previous podcasts, as far as love, relationships, polyamory. We have a really cool, honest, and heartfelt discussion. So check out my interview with Ren of Ren's Red Room. Well, if you've been following me for a while, you know I've made a couple guest appearances here and there, and most recently I had the pleasure of being a guest not once but twice on this lovely lady show. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, here with Ren of Ren's Red Room over at the Head Nerds in Charge Network. Ren, how are you this evening?
I'm lovely.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I have to say, I love that Pac-Man ghost light in the background.
Thank you. I gotta keep it nerdy all the time, you know.
Always. Now, I wanted to ask you, one of the things I've noticed about your podcast, not that it's not about nothing, but it's a podcast where you very much speak on topical things as well as sort of things that are just a passion of yours. What prompted you to get into, doing your own show on YouTube as well as just running with the Head Nerds in Charge, considering a lot of that content kind of bleeds into some of those areas as well?
Well, long story. So originally I was just doing little videos myself on Instagram and Facebook, and just talking about everything as in politics or just the drama you see on social media all the time. And I just made videos here and there just to, you know, express my frustrations on how stupid the internet is to me. It's
Right.
always it's always drama on the internet. It's always drama in the world, and I just wanted my opinions to go out there because sometimes you see stuff on the internet and you just be like, "What? That doesn't even make sense. Like, what? Why would you say something like that?" So I'm not shy type of person. So I know you see my Instagram. I ain't shy or
Right.
nothing. I speak my mind, you know. And a lot of people don't like a woman who speaks their mind, but we not living in those times. We live in a time where everyone can express themselves freely in any type of way, in any type of platform. So I felt like I needed to put my 2 cents into things. So Curtis, who is the head of the Head Nerds in Charge Network platform podcast, he saw my videos of me just talking. He's like, "You like to talk?" I said, "I do." And he's like, "Well, you can talk on my podcast if you like. You want to talk on my platform." And I told him, I'm not really trying to do this like professionally or
Right.
consistently. I just feel like this is making me mad. I want to speak my mind about it. So he's like, "Okay, well, if you ever feel like having your own show, let me know." So I said, "Okay." So a couple years down the line from that, he brought it up again, you know. So I say, "You know what? I'm not doing nothing right now. Why not? Let me give it a try. Let's see where
Right.
it goes." So I tried it, and you know, I loved it. So I'm working on it more. This is still new to me in my own like type of this. This is a new world for me.
Right.
Um,
Understood.
yeah, so I'm just all about trying new things, and if I love it, great. If I don't, at least I tried. You know, that's how I feel.
Understood. Understood. This is an interesting world, especially YouTubing and I guess I would say broadcasting. It's weird to say broadcasting because it's technically what we are doing. But you
Mhm.
think broadcasting, think of, CNN, like news and broadcast television. But no, essentially what we're doing, we are broadcasters, all right. But kudos to you for stepping up to the plate and seeing where it goes because I don't know about you. I find this is a bit of an outlet, and just talking with you previously, it seems like you find it as a bit of an outlet as well.
Yes, definitely, definitely an outlet for me. Yeah, so it's like a lot of people. Like this is what I used to say back in the day when Facebook was just starting to be popular. I noticed a lot of people use social media like kind of like a diary.
Mhm.
Um, we used to have books where we wrote our emotions, our opinions, our 2 cents, our common sense. We used to have books to write it down. Now, because of we in more of a technical age, everyone's just expressing their feelings all over the media web, and so it's a good outlet. Like I said in my last show, that I'm sure the person who invented the internet didn't know it was going to be like this, but this is what it is. So yeah, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time with the
That it
internet.
is.
Yeah, so expressing yourself to a broad audience, you're going to get some comments, not some very nice comments, because some people's not going to agree with you. Everybody might not even agree with you, but it's still good for you to, for my opinion, just put it out there. Even you don't agree with it now because you don't see the vision of where this is going. Maybe down the line you look back and like, you know what, that makes sense. He was right, she was right. Now I see in a different glass view. That's what I think about it.
Understood. Now, let me ask you this, especially, someone who's raising children. Have you found it, or how have let me phrase this question. How have you been able to navigate sort of educating your children and raising them in the pitfalls of social media? And I ask this because of my professional careers over the past 20 years. That is something that I have always had to be very cognizant of, but also I've had to teach and educate about. And in my perspective, it seems like people still don't understand the pitfalls of the internet. Particularly, you talk about people using it as a diary, people putting their information out there. You know, there's a time and place for everything, and it seems as though that filter is very much non-existent in certain respects, and individuals don't understand the repercussions that can have personally and professionally. How, as you as a mother, as a professional, how have you been able to sort of teach that to those that are coming behind you?
Well, and the mother aspect of it, as a mom, it's all about protection. You know, that's my main priority when it comes to my kid, is to protect her from this world. So for me, I'm lucky to have a nerdy child. Like, my child's father is nerdy as well, and we was old school. We both was raised old school, so she don't really be on social media. We both refuse and forbid any of that. She has a parent block on her phone, and she don't get into it. She might get into it every once in a while. She might sneak and see something, but we always monitor her. We are very involved with our kid. So it's about protection. You know, I am the adult. I am her mother. She looks on to me for guidance and wisdom and that protection. So I have to do everything in my power to do my due diligence to provide that for her. So we raise her old school, like read a book, play video games like we used to play video games, go outside, play with kids. You know, I mean, it's a lost art, which is unfortunate nowadays, but no, I'm not about to have my kid on anything. I don't even care if it's TikTok. No, the farthest she goes is YouTube, and we even monitor that. You know, I'm lucky to have a kid that's not really interested in all that extra, you know, type of stuff. So, you know, I'm grateful for that. But yeah, I mean, parents just need to be parents. You know, you got to. Your child, you are your child's first teacher of life.
Mm-hmm.
So you might not think of that way because, you know, kids go to school, but regardless, they still come home to you. Every day, every night, they still come home to you. You are their first teachers. Okay, before you get them out into the world, you have to prepare them for the world. You got to teach them, like, yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. But just know I got your back. And that's just how I feel.
Right. You put it very well. Thank you. Because I observe and I watch, and not to knock anybody else, there is definitely a lack of teaching, training, and parenting when it comes to children on the internet. And just, I think people on the internet in general, I think there is a definite lack of self-control and understanding that the internet is forever.
Mm-hmm, yes.
And these are things that, you know, will come back. I literally have, not so much, nothing's coming back to bite me, because I've never had an internet presence that way. But my roles in general, a professional speaker, have always had me on the internet. So I have always been cognizant of what is out there with regards to my public image, and even as far as like website style and other things that I've done, I'm very much cognizant of what's presented. Sometimes I don't care, just based on the nature of some of the people who I might interview, but I think even in that regard, I'm very tasteful in what I do and how I present people. But I think that a lot of people don't understand, yeah, you know, that rant that you had 5 years ago was on TikTok that went viral. You know, that could color you and influence when you go to a job, because more and more jobs, especially what sectors you go into, are looking at your social media, looking at your fingerprint, digital fingerprint. And I talk about 20 years ago, 20 it's almost 20 years ago now. 20 years ago, I was a college administrator, and we were talking about the pitfalls of Facebook and putting things on Facebook and how that can impact these young individuals when it comes to the job market, especially if they're looking to go into, like things with secret clearance and things of that nature. And this is 20 plus years ago we're talking about that. And that pales in comparison to what people, especially, like millennials, Gen Z, that pales in comparison of what they're putting online now. So yeah, it takes a lot as a parent to really monitor and teach, and I really applaud you on that, because I know it's not easy. This world is not easy. It does not make it easy to be a parent. Right,
not at all. When you are like, I can just imagine when I was a kid, like I really was a nerd all my life. So even before social media was even a thing, before the internet was even a thing, I was being bullied for just being different, So I can't imagine. I have seen kids commit suicide for social media bullying, social media presence that they might put out there. And it's toxic. I don't want my kid on the internet. I say the internet is toxic environment. There's enough toxicity in regular world, in your regular life. And the internet just 10 times fold of that. So I forbid my kids to even be on this. If she's on this, she's definitely not going to be on it around me. Because I'm not playing that, And then she's at the age of teenagerhood. So she's going through body changes. She's going through all these changes in her life, and she don't know what's up and down right now. She don't know what's going on, and she's more self-conscious. She's more self-aware of herself. And I can't imagine my kid posting something on TikTok, saying something, trying to be a kid. And another kid's like, why you look like that? Why your hair like that? Why your skin like that? Why is this? Why that? And she takes it as, people don't like me. People don't love me. People are making fun of me. People are bullying me. Right. And I'm just like, Mama Bear mode. Like, who's this kid? Where's she at? Where's she at? Understood. So yeah, I just can't imagine parents who really don't believe in that, don't even think about that, not even aware of how the internet can influence your kid's life, right? So yeah, you got to monitor everything. You got to, know what they're doing, know who they're talking to, because you never know who's who on the internet. And much like you said before, we grew up in a time where we didn't have all of this. And if somebody says something to us, you usually said it to our face or got through to us through another kid. It hurt. Don't get me wrong. But being online and just have I don't know what it is about a nameless, faceless person that could say anything they want about you. I don't know why that is that much more horrifying than somebody in person. I think simply because it's just like you're getting on this for fun. You're getting on this to enjoy the bounties of the internet, the information exchange, to be silly and be goofy, and then have some random no name just say something to you. I guess it's more so it's out of the blue. So yeah, protection aspect is definitely something I think we all really need to be more vigilant of collectively. But I want to shift the tone a little bit. One of the things I've noticed about you is that you're an avid gamer. Tell me about some of your first gaming memories. Oh my goodness, you bring me back. Like, I love video games. I just really, when I was younger, it was my zen. I guess it was my outlet, my hobby back in the day. Video games. My earliest memory of my video games are like the PlayStation 1 games. I had every game ever invented back in the day. Like literally, I had the Ataris, I had the joysticks when they was just a stick and a button, So I remember Frogger. It's like, that's how old I am. The original Mario when it was just pixelized, So My favorite game from the PlayStation 1 was the Bugs Life game. Oh my. And yeah, that was my like in the Toy Story one. Those were my top two on my PlayStation back in the day. Nowadays, my favorite game is Alan Wake. Like I just love
Okay, yeah. See, you've been
Alan
playing
Wake.
that, yeah.
Yeah. It's a great story. I like video games with a story and a meaning, makes you think. It's very a psychological game. It's kind of horror. The original wasn't as much horror, but the new
Right.
one now is like terrifying.
Now, question: did you play the original on the 360, or did you play the original when they re-released it for all other systems a couple years ago?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I used to have every single game back in the day, but moving a lot, I lost a lot of stuff that probably worth thousands of dollars right now.
Understood. I still lament over my Dreamcast being lost in the move between grad school and all this, and I'm like, it still makes me mad about that.
I still have the Dreamcast. I just don't have the cords to it, but I have the system.
Well, at least you should be able to find those online though.
Yeah.
Like, at least you can buy a whole new system.
Right. I just keep it for memorabilia, you know. But yeah, those are my favorites. What about you? You got any favorites currently?
It's hard because a lot of times I bounce around with making content. I think the game that really got me over the past year, which I need to buy because it's not on Game Pass anymore, is Trek to Yomi. That's a game I really enjoyed playing, and I have to buy it so I can finish playing through it and beating it. I need to get back into also the Star Trek game, Star Trek Resurgence, which came out. I bought that like day one.
Okay.
I was mad though because they didn't like. I literally like the day it came out, I was trying to find it to pre-order it beforehand, and then the day it came out, I'm like, oh, let me go buy this. I wanted to buy a physical copy. I was so upset they only released it digitally, and only now are they doing like limited release physical versions. I'm like, I'm not buying this game twice.
Right.
But it's literally like you're playing an episode of like Deep Space Nine or Next Generation. It's so awesome. My time has been kind of crazy over the past couple months, really sitting down and just getting lost in a game, not just playing.
Right.
I played through some games, like I played through Persona 5 Tactica just to get some impressions for it for Game Bites, which I put out. It was a cool game, not my speed at all. I'm not into tactical RPGs, and that right there just said, yeah, this is for me. Like a Dragon, Gaiden, the man who erased his name. That seems pretty cool, and I need to get back into that as well. I like that game, just playing through when I did, and I'm looking forward to getting into it even more, especially when I found out that the game has emulated versions of Fighting Vipers 2 and Daytona USA 2. I was like, and those are two games that have never come to home consoles. Well, no, Fighting Vipers was on Dreamcast by a second, but Daytona USA 2 has never been on a home console whatsoever. And I'm like, oh, I need to play through this to find this arcade just to play those games, because Daytona USA is a game that never goes out of style. I bought it originally on my 360, so it carries over to my Xbox One. I played it all the time. I played it, and man, I mean, I've been playing that game since high school, I think. Now that I think about it, it came out that long. It came out when I was in high school, and it's just one of those racing games that was like peak Sega, when they were like that arcade greatness, where they could literally put out an arcade game and you would never be disappointed with the release. It's so fun. And even with the home console translation, because I've been playing it on home console, I had it on my Dreamcast and bought it again on the 360 and been playing it ever since then. And whenever I upgrade to a series system, I'll play it on that since it's backwards compatible. But that's a game that I love playing. It's weird. I brought up the Dreamcast, and I keep going back to all my Dreamcast games. I'll go in and play Daytona. I'll go in and play Bass Fishing is one that I still have. I bought on my Xbox back in the day, and I play those all the time. Those are my comfort games. If I just want to play something just to get in, get out, and enjoy myself, I'll put one of those two games in just because they're just so fun, and that enjoyment never goes away. It's something about those old school arcade titles that when they were ported right, it would just, like, you couldn't stop playing them. You know, you took out the whole quarter munching options for it, and just to play through it and just how fun it was. Yeah, but I haven't been playing anything else that's really intensive. Just because, like I said, I don't really sit down and have much time.
Right.
to
No,
get
I
lost.
completely, right. I completely understand. Like, I feel the same way. That's why I just been constantly playing Alan Wake, because it's like I know like what to do, you know, so it's not as intense because we're adults now. You know, we got kids, we got food to cook, like bills to pay. We got like thousands of other things to do.
Yes.
We ain't kids no more. Like when we had no responsibilities, no, nothing to do but sit there and just play games all day. So yeah, whatever I'm playing now, I really have to be like invested into it for me to really buy it. Especially now when it's like the games are going up now. It's more expensive. And then most things are downloadable now. So it's just like, I really got to be invested into it for me to really like, all right, I'm about to buy a new game and I'm about to sit here and play it, you know.
That's the way I feel. That's one of the reasons why I like the subscription services. Like, I do Game Pass on the Xbox. And if you listen to my podcast, ladies and gentlemen, you know that I don't pay for it. So basically, those who don't know, Microsoft has those Microsoft Rewards program, and you collect points by going through Bing and doing all the tasks, and then there are quests and stuff on your Xbox. I just make sure I'm on there every day and rack up my points. So I use those points every month and cash in for Game Pass, for free Game Pass Ultimate. Nice. So I'm just like, if I was paying for it, it still would be worth it, in my opinion. But yeah, I think it's a big investment now, especially as I have a couple issues about the games industry. One, digital, not just to switch to digital. The fact that even if you buy a disc, you're still downloading the damn game. The disc only acts as a key. I really hate that. What's the point of buying it? Two, the fact that they are increasing the prices of the games to $70 in many respects, but they're getting more money per game compared to when they were shipping a physical copy into a store. Like even beforehand, like, okay, you're literally saving. They're probably saving about $10 per game with shipping, with creating the disc, packaging, shipping it out, and they cut out a middleman as far as our retailers like a Walmart. Right. So Walmart, they may get a couple bucks off of it. So you're probably saving $10 per game, especially if it's a AAA game. So you're saving $10 a game because you're now delivering it directly to us, and then you increase the price of the game by $10. And if it's a first party game, there is no 70-30 split for a published game on their store. Like, they take in all that money that come in. So for me, I'm thinking, why are you charging me more, but you're already making more per game, especially with this digital shift? And that's what I don't like. And then the third thing is that you buy these games, but your system still has to be online because it has to check to see if the game is registered to you. I'm like, it's on my damn system. Why would it be mine? How could I not be playing if I didn't download? So those sort of things they really irk me. And I am fearful of not this generation, since we really just started, but maybe the next generation. What will happen to, say, your PS4, your Xbox, your Xbox One? What happens to those games then when it comes to being online? Because sometime those stores are going to shut down. Well, maybe it's Xbox, but those stores are going to shut down. Right. If there's nothing to check that authentication anymore, what happens to those games and those systems, since we literally switched to entirely digital platforms of distribution? Those are big fears that I have as far as the gaming industry. And even though a lot of things are being more and more pro-consumer, it's just who owns everything. Because I don't know if you saw the news this week with Sony and the PlayStation, and how, and this isn't the first time, it's just some reason it made headlines with Discovery. Pretty much they didn't renew the license for video content on the platform. So all of the content that was Discovery owned is now leaving PlayStation, even if you bought it. So you bought these things XY years ago, and now you're losing everything that you bought. So we're literally entering
Wow.
Yeah, so we're literally entering into a system where we're not even owning these things once we buy them. It's like a limited license until the license holder say we can't have it anymore. And this is one of the things that scared me, like this whole issue. So I booted up Gotham Knights on Game Pass when it came out. So I'm reading the terms and conditions, because there are a lot of terms and conditions, and it explicitly states you do not own this game.
Are you
have a license to it. Yes.
Oh, wow.
This is where we're going. And mind you, I'm playing through Game Pass, so it may be slightly different. But something tells me if I actually bought it, it would probably say the same thing. And the fact that this is where we're going to as far as gaming is concerned, it's scary, because I like having options. I don't mind buying things. I don't mind doing subscription services, even cloud play. I like having options, but we're shifting to a model where, okay, we're all digital. Okay, fine. But you to tell me I buy this game and I'm literally buying a license. I'm not like this. I don't have this digital file. I don't own it. I literally just have a license to it. Whether it's perpetual license, I have a license, and you as a license holder can terminate that license at any time. That's a problem.
Yeah. Listen, I went shopping on Black Friday, and what I used to do all the time is go to GameStop, because I'm old school, so I'm going into the store to buy a game. And this is Black Friday. I went like early in the morning to go in there. I go in there, it's no one there. Complete ghost town in this GameStop. And I'm looking around like, are y'all open? Yeah, we open. And it's like, where is everybody? This is everybody. It was just the employees. And I'm like, I remember when it was lines around the corner to get into GameStop. I remember when people was excited for new releases. I remember when Black Friday is like, I can get 50% off on video games and merchandise, and no one was in there but me. That speaks in volumes. Yeah, it really does. Of where we going with like things like that, as small as a video game. And yeah, most people don't even own their houses, that they actually pay mortgage on. So it's just sad in this world we live in that the top dogs get to dictate what we get to do with our own money, with our own hard-working money that we put blood, sweat, and tears in. We don't own it. We don't even own the money that we work for. The government owns it because they take out the taxes, or the bank owns it because they want to take their little percentage of your own money that you earned and you worked hard for. So it's sad that the world we go in, like the world we live in, really just sees us as like worker bees or little ants just working for the queen or something. It's sad, every day I think about, when is people going to speak up loudly and just be like, I ain't gonna do this no more. Like, I'm just tired. When is everybody gonna just be tired and just be like, what are we doing? Who do I need to talk to? Because the government's supposed to work for me, but it seems like I'm working for the government. It's sad. It really is. Yeah. It's messed up.
No, you're right though. Even that whole process is very indicative of the landscape changing in some respects. Yes, it is consumer driven, but in many respects, it's dictated by the larger corporations and how things are going to go. And, I remember I didn't stand in line for too many games back in the day, but I distinctly remember midnight launch for Halo 2. And I was in school down on the Eastern Shore at the time, so it was grad school. And we're in the Salisbury Mall, and Halo 2 launched the same day as Half-Life 2. So that long was out the GameStop, down through the mall. Like, dudes, and we're excited. I think some DS games came out too. I think that wasn't DS, it was Game Boy Advance at the time. And there were games that came out, and just people were excited about a game release, and it was such a community at that time. It was so cool. And what reminded me of that, because Half-Life, the original game, just its 25th anniversary, which is really crazy to think that was 25 years ago. And that's not a game I got into at all, but it was something that I downloaded last week on Steam because it was 99 cents and free, and that it just reminds me of those times that just don't exist anymore, of really getting around. Like, it's like we have events and so on and so forth, but that sort of collective community we had at a GameStop or a Suncoast Video, those things just don't exist anymore. And it's kind of sad with the digital landscape that we are now very much isolated. Like, even going to Walmart back in the day, like, you go and you see people talking about games or looking at games, and you just, have a casual conversation. You don't even really have that anymore.
Right. I mean, it just seems like that speaks volumes. Like, we don't even have common courtesy anymore, honestly. It's like a lot of things are just being outdated. And it's just like, dang, I just turned 30. It's like, I ain't that old, but it feels like when I talk to my kid, she humbles me real quick. Reminds me I'm old as hell. Like,
I feel you. I understand. So times have definitely changed, and society's moved on again in some ways good and in some ways bad. And let me switch a little bit to some topics that we talked about, especially since just coming off of going to Exotica DC and having many interesting conversations. One of the things that you've had on your platform is just really having honest conversations about people, and I'll say in different lifestyles, because I feel like the lifestyle is such an overall umbrella, and especially based on what I've learned, whom I've talked to over the past couple of weeks or so, I wouldn't say it adequately explains everybody. Everybody's doing something a bit different. So for me, in my opinion, just say it's the lifestyle is kind of an overarching umbrella. But these are people who are seeking or have different relationships outside of the norm. I don't want to say that because I feel like it's disrespectful. Outside of the traditional sort of cookie cutter, what relationships are supposed to be like. What has drawn you to that?
Oh, well, a lot of people assume that I was already in the lifestyle, and I didn't even know it even existed until recently too. So people assume, because like I like to model, I like to dress up, I like lingerie, I like feeling pretty and looking sexy. So they assume like, oh, so you a part of this, you a part of that. I'm like, no, because most of the time I'm by myself. So it's like I didn't think much of it, So it made me, from my friend, my friends are in the lifestyle. They actually call it a lifestyle, So I'm like, I don't know what that is. And instead of me assuming, I went to educate myself. So that's why I went to Exotica. I was invited by my friend Lisa's, who we interviewed together. And I sat there and just watched and see different people's relationships, different people's sexual terms, different people's preferences, different people's pronouns. So I really wanted to get information. The best way to get to information is dive right in, and actually observe it. So that's what I did. But yeah, it is an umbrella. It is a wide umbrella because it's not traditional, and it still, to me, don't make full complete sense, but it just depends on the person. It literally just depends on the person, because each person has their own terms, their own assumptions of what it is, and their own idea of what it is. So that's really how I seen it full force with my own two eyes of what is actually it. So
yeah, understood. I don't, and you probably can speak to the same. I am coming across more and more people who are living lifestyle, like just, and it kind of just hits you out of the blue in casual conversations. Like, oh, really? Like, literally, I met up with a colleague that I've worked with online plenty of times over the past year or so, and we're talking, and he's just like, yeah, I'm going out with my girlfriend later. I'm thinking, now mind you, he's getting married. And I know he saw my face was like the wheels were churning. And then, no, so-and-so, his wife, oh, no, she's out with her boyfriends or whatever. I'm like, and then it's like, oh, okay. And again, not passing judgment. It was just I didn't know.
I mean, they bold to even just be saying it like that. Like it's hard to say normal, but you would normal conversation. Your normal is different from my normal. Your conversations on a regular basis don't go that way. Like, yeah, I'm about to go home to my husband and my boyfriend. People be looking at you like, what?
Right. Exactly.
Like, you about to go home to who?
Right. And this is someone who, like, I've talked to, like, during the course of when we do our stuff. And so there's like a bit of personal stuff, but I've never been like, so tell me about how y'all got together. Like, I don't know his background like that. So that was just like, it surprised me. Because I had, and again, and I think about social media posts, I'm like, I do remember one time they posted something about so-and-so girlfriends, yada yada. But when I hear the term girlfriends or girlfriend, mm-hmm. I don't think girlfriend. I think, oh, that's my girl and that's a friend. Especially when it was in relation to the spouse.
Right.
I was like, oh, or I think it was our girlfriends. I think it's what the term was on one of the posts. Wow. I think about it. And I was like, I didn't think that. I didn't think that, oh, it's that kind of party. And again, There's nothing, it's just that I did not see that coming. Mm. So like, oh, yeah. Okay. So I say that to say that's someone who I've literally worked with for probably the past year or so. And it's just like, oh, okay. And I just seem to meet more and more people who are in the lifestyle and I never knew. And I find that really fascinating. And I'm talking about outside of people who I meet and talk to because of just like, oh, okay. Interesting. And even conversations that I have with friends, and we have these conversations, and some people, one old friend was like, yeah, her and her ex, they were in sort of a poly relationship, kind of, sort of. It's just like, and it's interesting how that conversation comes up. Seems like it comes up more and more nowadays, especially I will say with your age group, maybe your age group a little bit younger, because I'm 45. And so everybody who I've seen, like even my friend I'm talking about, she's 10 years younger than me, but everybody I see that, not saying that's the only people, but everybody I see that aren't, say, in the industry, so to speak, that I've seen talk about this, have been in that 35 and under age group. So I find it very fascinating how, for whatever reasons, there seem to be more and more people redefining what a relationship is for them, whether it's, for whatever reasons, reasons are, that's what their reasons are. But I know the reason.
I know the reason. My opinion of the reason. Okay. The younger generation don't have traditional structure that we used to have back in the day. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, everything was so cookie cut. This is what it is. A boy is a boy, a girl's a girl. This is going to be your husband. This is going to be your wife. There's no girlfriend. There's no just shacking up. There's no, oh, this is a situationship. It was none of that. It was literally, we are going to, if you slept with a person, that's my boo. That's my boo thing. That's my babe. Now when you sleep in a person, it's like, oh, we was just friends. It's like, I'm your friend. I
Right.
shared my body with you, and we're just friends. What friends you
Right.
got?
Right.
So
I never had no friends like that.
yeah. And I keep telling people, if you sleeping with me, we're not friends. Period. Is that that's not friendship to me. If you sleep with me, you like me. Period. I don't care if you trying to cover your feelings. I don't give a fuck about your feelings. But this generation is just so YOLO. We do anything and everything we feel like it without thinking twice. And that's just what it is. So with the poly and the lifestyle type of thing, it's like a lot of people are hurt. A lot of people are damaged. A lot of people are not healed. And a lot of people don't have a structure as this is what it is and this is what it isn't. So from what I've seen from my experience, poly relationships or lifestyle people are more, as they say, explorers. They want something, because even if he's saying this is my girlfriend, that's just a side chick with a title. It's still, especially if you married, it's still a side chick with a title, because she's just a thing to you at this current moment.
Right.
Now, depending on how the level is, most of the time it don't work out, the girlfriend, or it don't work out with the wife, because we can't pretend we don't have feelings. We can't keep pretending we don't have feelings and we're not human beings. Like, we don't get jealous, like we don't fall in love, like we're robots or something.
Right.
So people who are doing poly is literally just like, I want to feel that rush that I used to feel when I first started dating. I want to feel that intimacy, that newness, when it's like a drug. It's like, ooh, this feels good to me. This is like, I need this high. But like every high of a drug addict, it comes down eventually, and then you go try to find something else to give you that high again. So it's just, this is why they used to term back in the day sex addiction, because it is addiction in some form of fashion. It's just it's a certain thing, you just calling it, you just redefining it, like everybody else is just trying to redefine, because I never heard of a lifestyle in my life. Like I said, this is just new to me, that people put in the terms of just sleeping around or just having fun or just doing things casually. I never knew it was a term for it until recently, and now they making it a term for it. So that's my opinion, thoughts on it.
I have similar opinions, and this is not an indictment of anything. This is just an observation of people. People have emotions, and when you involve people and you are intimate with them, emotions get involved regardless if you want them to or not. And emotions cause problems, and the more people you involve in that sort of circumstance, the more the higher probability of having issues. And that's just the way. Look, I'm not saying people don't make it work for them, because people do. I mean, that sort of thing is not new, and has been around forever in many respects, maybe in different parameters, but it's been around forever. So people,
I've never seen it work. I've been to a whole party at Exotica with different people in different relationships and different terms of their relationship. I've seen married people, single people, poly people, lesbians, gays. I've seen it all at this party, and I wanted to be educated. So I asked questions to find out what's going on here. And most of the time, if it's a poly relationship, my opinion only, because I'm sure people make it work. I'm sure they do. I just never seen it.
Right.
It works for the time it works until it don't work no more.
Right. Because people are human.
Yes.
People are human. People get. I literally, there is a content creator who I follow, and again, I didn't follow her because I didn't know anything about her lifestyle, but she's put it out there online. And I remember one post specifically where she was in her feelings, upset that basically she was having issues either with partners or having partners. Yeah, her husband was having no problem. So she was feeling jealous because he was having all this success and she wasn't. I believe the whole poly thing was her idea, if I remember some of her posts correctly. And I found
So she's bisexual?
I don't know. I think no, she's only deals with men to what I understand, based on her post and what I remember.
Okay.
So I found that very interesting. And it's like, okay, these are sort of things I don't need in my life. Like this sort of look, to each their own, and I'll not. And look, as a observer, it is fascinating, human dynamic, human relationships, and how people explore them is fascinating to me as an onlooker. But y'all continue to do y'all. I will continue to watch and seek to understand and go back to my life and say, yeah, no, it's too much drama for me. I can't do it. I got enough drama for one person.
Listen, imagine your wife and her emotions that she goes through with just you. So now you want to double that?
That's the way I feel.
So most of the time, it's literally just people having fun and people experimenting and people exploring. That's just what it is. That's why I call it a high, because it's you constantly getting that new reaction when you meet a person. You getting that new emotion every time you meet a person. It's just that high that you're feeling. Like when you first, if I saw the man I had a crush on just approach me, I'm going to feel special. I'm going to feel tingly. I'm going to be like, what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to, and people just love that part of it. Like the newness, like, oh, this is a new situation. This is a new feeling. This is a new body. This is a new, everything's just new. And they just keep finding new. I never seen no one really be like, we going long term with it. I never seen and this is why this is an American version of poly and polygamy and polyamory, because there's other cultures that do this. They have multiple wives, but usually it's a man who's rich with multiple wives living even in that one house, or brought each wife a different house to live in. That's how its origination of it was. And that's how it worked out, because it was more rules to it. It was more structure to it. Like, you want to be taken care of as a wife, I need you to do this. And they agreed upon to whatever this was. And that's how they had the multiple wives, because everyone knew their place. They had their own workers, and that's just how it was. In America, what man is paying for 5 different houses? 2 different houses for 2 different women, unless you rich. We
saw them try to do it on TV, and ain't none of them together anymore. So,
Right.
But no, I agree with you. I think in that context, and that's where, like, I understand why that works. As someone who's been married 16 years, I understand the concept of multiple wives. I understand why that works, because there's a structure there. Right. There is a support there. There is, and I don't know how I can put this, because I don't want to come off as too much chauvinistic, but in many respects, what I've learned is if many women, if they are being taken care of, they have no issue sharing them.
Right. And as a woman, I 1000% agree with you. Listen, and I love you saying that, because I'm about to be real with you right now, because women always say, I will leave a man if he cheats on me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He's been cheating for 5 months straight. You still sitting there. So most of the time, if women want 2 things: provide, protect. That's what majority of women want. If you can provide for me housing, lights, food, clothing, whatever it is you can provide for me, I'm with you. Protection, protect my heart, protect my well-being, protect my surroundings, protect me, act like you care about me a little bit,
Right.
Act like you care about my well-being.
Right.
That's, we all yours. We all yours. I know men's eyes is going to wander because y'all are visual creatures. I already know that. All I ask is you be respectful. And as long as you providing and protecting, I'm 100% with it. But once you stop doing that, oh, you got me effed up.
Yeah, agree. And I think that's why those sort of relationships worked for those individuals, because they went into it understanding the dynamic and what was supposed to be. It wasn't the freewheeling or free balling sort of experience that we have now, deemed polygamy and being poly and have them. Again, I don't want anybody to take this as, oh, I'm not going to, because I'm not. That's not my lifestyle. It's not my life. I have no idea. And I'm not saying it doesn't fulfill you, don't get what you need, it doesn't do whatever it is in a relationship. I'm not here to say that because I don't know. However, I'm just looking at it as, okay, I understand why when we think of polygamy, specifically, not so much polyandry. And yes, there are instances historically where there have been polyandry where you have one woman with many husbands. Mm-hmm. But traditionally, when you think of polyandry, it's really one man, multiple women, and those women, taking care of them. And that's indicative of really how we operate as human beings. And that even goes back to biology. And the natural world, and that's male and female dynamics. One of the things I always say, case in point, elephant seals. Elephant seals, I always documentaries when I was a kid. So they fight, and the bull who wins gets to impregnate all of the females. So, but yeah, that's how that works. But let me ask you one more question, and then we're going to wrap this up because I know we both got a lot of things to get back to. So, What are your favorite fragrances?
Well, right now it's Fenty. Rihanna's perfume. Right, it's just as soon as I walked into the store and I saw it, because if you don't know, a lot of people used to say Rihanna smelled wonderful.
Right.
Like every party she went to, every place she went to, events, people were like, "What's that smell? You smell so good." So because of that, she created a fragrance. I don't know if it was from what she made herself, whatever, but she made her own fragrance from people just saying she smells so good. And this was years ago. I just recently bought it. And I walked into that store and I saw it and I'm like, let me see what the hype's about. Just sprayed a little bit on me. And I'm like, oh my God, love. It smells so good. I don't even know what she put in it. I just didn't care. I'm about to buy that whole bottle. Like it smells divine. I don't even know how to describe the scent. It's just like, I'm wearing it right now, actually. So I'm trying to figure out how to describe it.
Understood.
It's like, I don't know. I describe it as sex because it just smells so good. I want some more.
Hey, it means it's doing its job. But
Yes.
Ren, we're going to let you go. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Thanks. Well, I'm Ren from Ren's Red Room. You can follow me on Instagram, silly_weaver. I model. I put up clips all the time. I travel too. I'm a truck driver as well. So there's always something new that you can see on my Instagram, and I'm always uploading a clip. You can also watch any of my shows on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Again, it's Ren's Red Room on the HNIC network, which is Head Nerds in Charge network/platform thing. So yeah, follow me, inbox me, guys, and hope to see you there.
Thank you very much, Red. Everybody, take care. Follow her. Check out our podcast, Webster Style. See you later. Like I said, it was a great conversation and a long one. So I'm going to end that right here. Make sure you find me all around and support when you can. It's really appreciated. Basil and Sage, use the code Sartorial and Geek 10 for 10% off your first purchase. Become a patron at the $1, $3, and $5 tiers over at patreon.com. Use the link below for 10% off your purchase at peteandpedro.com. Again, they have hella sales going on right now, so definitely get your money's worth. In addition, get another 10% off. Also, try out W, get 10% off your first purchase of the energy drink by using the code WebsterMan or the link in the show notes, and get 10% off my favorite coffee brand of the moment, El Viejo Coffee. Use the code WebsterStyle10 for 10% off your first purchase at checkout. You can find me all around the web. You can find me talking gaming every week. My man Brian Saff over Nerds Through the World on the NRW Checkpoint, talking wrestling with the legend Kriya P and the voiceover king Sean Mongold over Kayfabe Baby, the NRW Ring Generals. Of course, social media, Instagram, find me at Sartorian Geek and Webster Style. Twitter, Webster Style, and TikTok _Webster Style. Of course, anything and everything can be found at websterstyle.com. Drop me an email, info@websterstylemagazine.com. And again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your listening ear. And remember, stay safe out there and be blessed. Strong, we can lift him to the sky. The party's up to 12. Get it. Got a little time to get it on. And no fact, I'm the type of pussy on. And after that, take a picture with your phone of the outfit. I'm choosing what we own.
Now it was Tree Green Tuesday. Had to be Bow Tie Thursday. Had to be White Wednesday. I know last time. Well, I wore polka dot. You didn't wear.
Miss Millie on them hills killing them, but I'm sure it's a Thursday. Bow tie Thursday, pasta cream in your heels looking sharp, babe. Acting like you don't know the rules up in the workplace. Must I remind you it was till on your birthday? Don't get me wrong, I think we killed in the birthdays. And you picked the hella fit for the church day. Let's say you picked the risk game poet. Now you got the floor filled with bras that you purchase. Pick a color scheme that can match your berry corset. Berry cream, we can make a little scene. Cause no one man should have all that styling. Take it off, clothes on the floor piling. No one girl should fit it all in them jeans. So take it off and let me see what's under them seams. Cause no one man should have all that styling. Take it off, clothes on the floor piling. No one girl should fit it all in them jeans. So take it off and let me see what's under them seams. And see what it seems. If it is what it seems. Do it again. Chicks be looking thick in leggings, you know what I mean? I don't know. Take a hit though, don't try to get me at a moment. Coat mint though, smoking hot, rocking this pin so thin. Tie hairline, looking like a stint so pimp. No lie, I'm sharper than a utensil. Instrumental, plain dang, homie. I was hoping we could walk out with that bang bang, honey. See them plain James, honey. Them lame frames, funny. We tell it fit it crazy like I thing came on me. Hey, mommy. Liquor lady, main thing, want me on the scene. Fit popping like a main vein, running blood color lips, smashing with the hang. Clutch money, holding bag, kinda funny. Can you tell me what's the price tag of the Range Rover? Hang on me when we walking, looking Gucci like that thing sprayed on me. Walking with a limp like an ankle sprained on me. Yeah, I rock the cardigan. She don't really want me because one man should have all that styling. Take it out, clothes on the floor, piling. No one girl should fit it all in them jeans. So take it off and let me see what's under them seams. Cause no one man should have all that styling. Take it off, clothes on the floor, piling. No one girl should fit it all in them jeans. So take it off and let me see what's under them seams. Hey, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Aim off and on and middle of alone. Aim off and on and middle of alone. Cause no one man should have all that styling. Take it off, clothes on the floor, piling. No one girl should fit it all in them jeans. So take it off and let me see what's under them seams.
Oh, you wanted to? Oh, I completely read that wrong.